Control the kitchen chaos and streamline your back-of-house operations with Restaurant Technologies. Restaurant Technologies' Total Oil Management Solution is the end-to-end automated oil management system that delivers, filters, monitors, and recycles your cooking oil, taking the dirtiest job out of the kitchen and lets your employees focus on more important tasks. The Total Oil Management Solution helps prevent the burns, spills, slips, and falls that come with traditional oil management. Restaurant Technologies gives you and your employees peace of mind among the chaos of a commercial kitchen and can maximize efficiency for your business. And no upfront cost. Learn more about Restaurant Technologies and all the solutions they offer by visiting rti-inc.com or call 888-796-4997.
Hello, welcome to Menu Talk. I'm Pat Cobe, Senior Menu Editor of Restaurant Business, and I'm here today with
Bret Thorn, Senior Food and Beverage Editor of Nation's Restaurant News and Restaurant Hospitality. I'm tired, Pat.
You had a very busy week last week. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I went to our Create conference, the event for emerging restaurateurs, and it was sensational. It's funny being behind the scenes, knowing how these events are organized. Sometimes it's like, oh, we got to find somebody to be on this panel. So you'd think that we would find some duds accidentally, but no, every single person who spoke and presented was really interesting and really engaging. And it was a great group of restaurant operators. And of course, from a food perspective, there are a bunch of sponsored events.
Interesting.
And then also Texas Pete always does a Kitchen Heroes Cook-Off, which is sort of a mystery basket thing. And you have to use the spices or the rubs and the sauces from Texas Pete.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always a great event too. And I'm trying to remember who won, and I forgot. But
So were they all restaurant operators who entered?
Yeah. These are our chain restaurant chefs.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one of the competitors in the Texas Pete Cook-Off was a consulting chef, but she's been a corporate chef at restaurants for a really long time.
Yeah.
And those are the people that we highlight. And it was great. It was a sort of Latin and Asian inspired blend of flavors on this braised pork that was just delicious, really good.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to Create this year, so hopefully I can make it next year because I've heard it's a great event and
really fun.
Yeah.
And one of the highlights, unfortunately, is the VIP event. I mean, just because that means not everybody can go, but it was held at Barcelona Wine Bar. And when Create was in Denver, we also held it at the Barcelona Wine Bar there. And the food there is so good, and the service is so attentive and thoughtful. And, there was a guy slicing jamón ibérico that obviously I ate with gusto. There were these little tiny boquerones, the little marinated anchovies on potato chips that I don't know what they flavored it with, but they were so delicious. Just very, a combination of tangy and spicy with a little fishiness that you get from anchovies. That was awesome. And they always do huge platters of paella. And I was full because I'd eaten all the Johnsonville sausages before I got there. But also, the whole point of really all of these conferences, but especially Create, is to talk to people and network and exchange ideas and stuff. So I just mostly stood around and drank Tempranillo and talked to people.
Yeah, I think Barcelona is like one of the most unchained chain restaurants that I've come across.
Yeah, I mean, that's their whole shtick. The CEO, Adam Hallberg, doesn't even like to say how many locations there are. But I'll tell you, there are 22 locations of Barcelona. But yeah, each one is different. The one in Atlanta, as he told me, doesn't even have a sign. You just have to know where it is.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And they also do Bar Taco, which I've been to, which is their fast casual place.
Yeah. I think they might have spun that off. I don't remember whether it's still the same company.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Because I can't remember everything.
No, we get so much in our heads and in our mouths that it's difficult.
Yeah. But I also, since I was in Nashville, I had time one free night, and I went with my colleagues to Rodney Scott's Whole Hog Barbecue.
Oh,
Which,
great.
yeah, they were one of the winners of our Hot Concepts Award that we give every year to new-ish emerging restaurants. And he has one location right on Broadway in Nashville on the main drag. And so I had really good whole hog pulled pork with coleslaw and collard greens.
Mm,
So, reasonably healthy meal in a way. In fact, I had that for dinner and breakfast the next day because I took it back to my hotel with me. It just
nice.
picked at it in the morning. It was delicious.
Yeah.
Um, which, I mean, Nashville actually isn't traditionally a barbecue city. It's a meat and three city. If you want barbecue in Tennessee, Memphis is better known for that. But
Right.
and Rodney Scott's from North Carolina, so it's a different style of barbecue. But I really love that kind. It's all
Yeah.
tangy and vinegary. I really
I
enjoy it.
once had it when they used to do, when Danny Meyer used to do the smoke out down in like Gramercy
Yeah,
area
the
of
Big
New
Apple
York.
barbecue.
Yeah, Big Apple barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pre-pandemic, but it was a lot of
Yes.
fun. And
Yeah,
I,
that's a good event. And they'll probably have it again.
I hope so. Yeah, you get to taste barbecue from all over the country that
Yeah,
way.
which
So,
is cool. And then this week, well, I went to a excuse me, a fundraiser this weekend in Princeton, New Jersey, and got to go on the way to it. I went to a little restaurant called Agricole, which is sort of on the main strip in Princeton, and had a really nice mushroom flatbread. Agricole is big on local stuff,
mhm,
and they said it had local mushrooms. But the thing is, Princeton is only about 80 miles from Kennett Square, which is where most of the mushrooms, like 90% of the mushrooms in the country, are cultivated. So
mhm.
it's kind of cheating to call it it's that's where all the mushrooms are from. So obviously they're local, but I guess that's not cheating. And they had a local egg and ricotta cheese. It was very nice, good.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I went to Eat Okra, which is a new festival celebrating uh, Black-owned businesses, and checked out. I mean, some really good coffee roasters, and I drank a lot of Pepsi Zero because they were a sponsor. So a lot of that. But and then I had some plantain nachos. So instead of nacho chips, it was plantains topped with caramelized onions, red cabbage slaw, Haitian pickles, and griot pork, which is sort of the Haitian version of carnitas. It's a braised Haitian pork, and that was fun and tasty. And then on the way back from that festival, I realized that I was going to go by a McDonald's, so I tried the chicken Big Mac.
Wow, you really had quite an eating weekend.
Yeah, I knew I was going to be talking to you, Pat, and I wanted to have
Right.
something to say. And the chicken Big Mac really, I think, brought home to me the importance of the Big Mac sauce because it tasted like a Big Mac, even though
Hmm.
it doesn't have onions, as we discussed, I think, last week.
Right.
The chicken Big Mac doesn't have onions, but it's really all about the sauce. And it tasted like a Big Mac. It just happened to have these little thin fried chicken patties. And I wonder if that will be McDonald's entree into offering vegetarian options.
Mm,
Just today, I believe, they announced that they're going to have plant based chicken nuggets in France
mm.
in collaboration with Beyond Meat. And they have the plant based protein that option elsewhere in Europe. Um, I mean, and they say there's just not really demand for it in the United States, which is
Well, yeah, it didn't go over too big when they introduced the McPlant burger, but
right.
maybe they were before their time. Who knows?
I mean, I kind of feel like, uh, I mean, this also came up talking to chefs at Create that the meat analog version of plant-based protein, I think it's kind of run its course.
Hmm. I
And
kind of
I mean,
agree.
maybe not because McDonald's just is selling in France. But you could also do a black bean burger or any number of
Hmm.
of, of things put it in a Big Mac, and you'd still have that Big Mac sauce, so it would satisfy the
Right.
craving. Although, is it worth the trouble? I mean, a lot of people who eat plant based aren't vegetarians or vegans. They just want to, eat meatless meals sometimes. Um, and maybe they're not going to McDonald's on those occasions. They're going to
Yeah, well,
Taco Bell.
I think if they could put something that's like a breaded chicken patty and it's vegan, I think that would go over bigger than a McPlant burger.
Maybe when that is what they're doing with the nuggets, just
Yeah,
make them sort of flatter or bigger and flat.
right.
Which and the chicken patties in the chicken Big Mac were thin. They were little skinny chicken
Hmm.
patties. So yeah, I think that probably you could substitute in a meat analog for that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you still have the mac sauce, so
I don't know why no one does like eggplant burgers. I think eggplant is a really good substitute for meat. And if you bread it, it's, like minus the Parmesan part, it's like pretty tasty.
yeah. I mean, eggplant parmesan's a classic.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a big fan of mushrooms, but I honestly don't want a portobello mushroom as a burger.
Mm.
I think it gets too spongy. But a ground mushroom patty, I think, would be great, or
Yeah,
mushrooms or black
definitely.
beans or something like that. And obviously, these things have existed for a really long time. And I think that might be a better way to go than the meat analogs.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It wouldn't look like mushrooms. It would look more like a burger.
Right, and obviously mushrooms have that umami, and
Hmm.
they taste meaty while still very clearly being mushrooms. And I think people like the transparency of knowing what they're eating.
Well, if anyone from McDonald's is listening, I think we have some really good ideas here.
Yes,
Eggplant or mushrooms
this is
ground
our
up.
feedback for you. Yes.
Well, I had a chance to go to Econ this weekend, which is it rotates from city to city, but it was in New York this weekend at Forest Hills Tennis Stadium in Queens, which is a really nice venue. I haven't been there since I was a kid, and I grew up right next door to Forest Hills. So, but it was really a fun event. They had lots and lots of local restaurants, which is what their shtick is. It's sponsored by The Infatuation, which is kind of like Eater. They do restaurant reviews and that kind of thing. So all the restaurants were from Brooklyn or Manhattan or Queens, but there was one from Ridgefield, Connecticut that had the longest line. It was a barbecue concept called Hoopa or something. I didn't write it down, but it was kind of like that. But one of the interesting things is that Shake Shack was there. And I guess because Shake Shack got its start in New York City,
Yeah,
they
it's counts as
consider it
local.
local, even though it's a huge chain now. But they did a Thai diner burger, which is something I haven't seen on their menu, but it was a special for this event, and it had like a Thai sauce on it, and they also had fries that had the same sauce on it. So maybe we'll see that on Shake Shack's menu
So,
someday.
what kind of Thai sauce was it? Like a sriracha thing, or a basil
I
based
have
thing,
to
or
look it up. Just give me 1 second. Um, but the other thing, there were a number of Asian places from Chinatown, which were really good. I had a bowl from New York Noodle Town, which I've never been to, but I know it's a really good Chinese Chinatown spot.
yeah, I go to New York Noodle Town every Black Friday because I have
Mm,
a custom with friends of mine, old college friends of mine, the day after Thanksgiving. We start at Joe's Shanghai in Chinatown and have
oh,
soup dumplings there.
uh-huh.
And then we usually have a drink, and then we go to New York Noodle Town and get wonton duck noodle soup. And then we just do whatever we want over the course of the day. We walk around and just eat and drink until it's time to go home. That when we were younger, this would last into the wee hours. Now, usually, five, six
Well, it
o'clock.
sounds like fun.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
a
the
great.
name the name of that barbecue place was Hoodoo Barbecue, and it had a huge line.
What kind
So
of
I'll have to
barbecue
try
was it?
it if
Because
I'm up in.
Richfield,
Ridgefield,
Yeah,
Connecticut.
Ridgefield is not known for its barbecue.
No,
None of Connecticut, none of New England is known for its barbecue. So what did you try it, or was the line too long?
I didn't try it because there's only so much you can eat. I did
Right.
try the Noodle Town's bowl that had 2 wontons and some noodles and some bok choy in it, which was really good.
Yeah,
But
their broth is
and the Thai Diner Shack burger, what they called was Evil Jungle Prince Shake Sauce, Shack
evil,
sauce.
evil
So
jungle prince shack sauce.
you're right. And then
So
it
it was
also
like
had pickled bamboo and green chili relish and Thai basil.
that sounds good. So it was based on a green curry kind of thing.
Yeah, so I think it was based on the shack sauce, but it must have had a few extra spices in it.
So it was a sort of mayonnaise-based creamy sauce, like the shack
Yeah,
sauce is.
but yeah, there were some foods that were really popular. Oh, also, they Sofia Vergara was there. She's introducing a new concept called Toma, which is all empanadas.
Yes, it's a retail brand.
It's a retail brand, but she
Yeah.
said it's going to expand into restaurants. They have a pop up in Florida, and that's their first test site, and it's going to expand into more, spots around the country. Yeah, well, and I also did a podcast with Chef Say Richmond from Cisco. So Cisco has culinary specialists around the country. There are about 80 of them, and she's based in Portland, Oregon. And they just came out with their cutting edge solutions um, launches for the fall. And so we talked about that a bit. Cutting edge solutions is their kind of like innovative subdivision where they try out new products and see how they'll fly. And they have exclusive rights to them for about a year. So I wanted to play some clips from our conversation where she talks about cutting edge solutions.
So we call it CES or cutting edge solutions. So we have rollouts of these new items 4 times a year now. And we've just launched our new launch. So incredibly excited because there's some incredible items. They're all exclusive to Cisco for a year. And one of the exciting things is we have pillars that those items need to fall under. So whether it's good for you or it focuses on labor savings or it helps drive the bottom line or it's incredibly versatile, all those products need to fit into those categories. And there are 3 that I'm really excited about because we love seafood here in Portland.
Of course.
So the first one is a Branzini fillet. So it's about a 5 to 7 ounce fillet. Stunning, stunning fish. And usually Branzini's is sold whole. Well, these are filleted, pin bone out, skin on. And the flavor on that is so incredibly lovely. Plus it's got a neutral flavor profile. So it can go many different ways, many different types of ethnic cuisines.
Yeah, so that was the one she was most excited about, obviously. And, I commented that I like to order Branzino in restaurants a lot, but often it comes where you have to pick out the bones a bit. So this is a nice way to offer it to chefs who want a different kind of fish on the menu, and it's
Yeah,
ready to go.
yeah. And Branzino it's a white fish. It's straightforward, so you can do all sorts of stuff to it. Has a nice texture.
Well, then she went on to describe some of the other products that are coming out. They actually just were launched on, a few days ago, so on
Oh,
Friday. So she was very pumped about it.
We do focus. So some of the items that we're going to be selling, there's a brand new peach chili jam that's from a company called Terrapin Ridge, one of my favorite companies. They make amazing stuff. And so, yes, some of the items that are coming to us through the CES are from smaller producers. The thing that I love about the rockfish is not only is it sustainable, but it is wild caught out of Alaska. So that's, obviously near and dear to our hearts in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, so I had the chance to go down to Cisco in June, and I got to taste some of these products. I did taste the chili peach jam, which was very good. And what they try and do is support smaller producers who want to get into food service, who might be in retail now or might be selling from a website or involved in e-commerce. And so they support them so that they can have a channel into food service. So I think it's a really interesting program.
Yeah, it's great. Certainly allows a Cisco to amplify the voices of people whose voices are not so much heard, and also obviously allows customers to find items that might be harder for them to get.
And then we talked a bit about flavor trends because she's really into, she is a chef originally. She's trained,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually trained in France. And so we were talking about some of the flavor trends she's noticed and the one she's bringing out to customers.
Yes, there are definitely flavor profiles that I'm seeing customers lean towards. It used to just be like Mexican food or Asian food, but now the focus is to really showcase regional items.
Mm-hmm.
So Filipino food is really hot right now, Caribbean, Moroccan. And the interesting things about these new items is that, again, it has that neutral flavor profile so that somebody can take that and add a really cool Berber spice to that rockfish and turn it into a Moroccan dish. Or they could add pineapple and maybe a little bit of conch to turn it in, something into a Caribbean dish. So I like that versatility and that ubiquity across the menu.
Yeah, we've been talking about Philippine for a while now, but I guess it's getting into the mainstream now.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking about it more like 6 years ago.
Right. But I still, you see it in independent restaurants, but not so much in chains.
Right. Yeah, I was in Houston earlier this year where Tom Cunanan, who got the sort of Philippine cuisine movement going when he was in D.C. at Bad Saint, he's in Houston now and has a place in a food court there, a food hall, I guess, is what we call it now. And it's if you a lot of the Philippine food that I've had has been kind of okay, but I understand why Tom Cunanan got the ball rolling because his food is delicious, and he did like a roast pork thing that, I mean, every culture does it, but there's something about the sour savory kind of flavor profile that a lot of Philippine food has that I really enjoyed, and he's a nice guy.
Well, I'll wait and see if it shows up in a chain like, I don't know, Chili's maybe, or maybe not Chili's, but
maybe we already, I think, talked about this. Twin Peaks just came out with an Indian sauce for its wings and chili crisp. So maybe I don't know. Maybe some sort of West Coast casual dining chain because.
Yeah, well, even some of the fast casuals are playing around with Indian flavors now, that you wouldn't expect, like Moe's Southwest Kitchen.
True.
Southwest Grill, I'm sorry. And then Chef Say talked a little bit about, labor saving, because that's the biggest challenge our customers face. And so that's where they really try and help with some of the products that they do.
So two of our new CES items really address that labor savings because, Pat, you're absolutely right. That's the number one thing that I hear from customers is I just don't have the labor in order to produce what I want to. So two of the new items come from Double L Ranch, which is a family-owned ranch out of Utah. One is a brisket chili that is amazing. So it's already made. And that could go so many different ways, whether you just want to serve it as a chili. It could go on the brisket burnt end hot dog for a little fun. It could go on a nacho. And then the other item that they're producing as well for us is a pork chili verde. So it's pork shoulder roasted in a really beautiful tomatillo sauce. And again, these items come in bags that can just be reheated in water. And then the operator can take that and customize it however they want. In fact, I'm going to be showing in a couple days, I'm going to take a biscuit, split it in half, put the chile verde on top, 2 poached eggs, and then a little fun spiceology seasoning on top, and call that brunch.
Sounds good.
Yeah, no, I think, having like pork shoulder is really a delicious cut, but it does take several hours to cook. So I think this is a great solution for people who want to serve it. And Then Chef Say talked about how she's using AI, which we talked about a little bit last week, but she is really into it. So, and she gets very enthusiastic about it. So let's listen to what she has to say about AI.
So I ran across a very interesting article written by the National Restaurant Association that says AI in and of itself is not creative. And I'm a very creative person. And I thought, well, okay, I understand what they're saying. So AI is a series of algorithms and it will pull bits and pieces from all over the web and compile it together, kind of stitch it together, which I think is really cool. But I want to say that AI is a really great place to ignite creativity. Again, operators are so focused on what's going on in their business. Sometimes it's hard to see outside the operation. So I think really there are three things with AI that operators can do to help generate that creativity in the kitchen. The first is visually. So there are lots of applications out there where you can go in and type in, I did this the other day, I did a chicken lettuce wrap. So I took a photo of that product and then I typed in all the ingredients in Adobe's Firefly, which is a free application. And it came up with a photo that blew me out of my chair. It was perfect lighting. The presentation was stunning. And it was very inviting. But I do want to say operators should approach AI with a little bit of caution, because if you put out an AI generated photo on your Instagram feed, and when a customer comes in and that's not what they're getting, they're going to get disappointed.
Well, it's also interesting because, some of them might be copyrighted as well.
Yeah, possibly. But you definitely want to take your own pictures of your food. And then if you want to doctor using Photoshop or whatever, okay. But I have my weekly column in restaurant hospitality called New on the Menu. And just for fun, I asked ChatGPT to draw pictures of the dishes. They were beautiful and fit the descriptions, but obviously, it didn't know how the stuff was presented. And even if I said in the description how it was presented, ChatGPT would embellish. So they were lovely pictures and certainly looked good, but they were not accurate. So, I used the pictures that were given to me by the restaurants, of course, because I'm not a monster.
I would be a little cautious about the recipes too, if you ask it to create a recipe, because that could be, that might be a good starting point, but I don't think it should be the recipe you use because it could be way off.
Correct. Yeah, no, it doesn't know the measurements because it can't taste.
Right.
But for brainstorming, it's great.
Yeah. No, I think it's really fun, and she's really into it. So she talks a little bit more about some of the ideas that she uses AI for.
The other two ways that I see using it is in menu generation. So, Pat, next time you have a dinner party, I encourage you to go out to Google's Gemini and type in, I want a 4-course Italian tasting menu. And AI will go out there and come up with a really great solution for your dinner party. And it'll even throw in wine pairings, which is kind of fun.
And recipes too? Will they?
And then the third way is recipes. Now, you want to be careful about this because again, AI will stitch things together from different places, but it's also a way to go, oh, wow, I didn't think about adding that particular spice to that dish. But again, that's going to be something that sets me apart. So I think AI is incredibly valuable, but I also think we need to approach it with just a little bit of caution.
Yeah. AI is not going to take chefs' jobs. Might take some other people's jobs, but you need to have a human mouth in order to create food. So, but as I said, for brainstorming, it's great. For idea generation,
right? And chefs taste as they cook, so AI can't do that.
No.
They can't. Not yet. Maybe in the future, but who knows?
And we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
So what's up for this week?
I'm going to some sort of a couple of secret special events tomorrow, actually, that I don't think I can talk about because they're embargoed.
I think I am going to the same one, so we'll talk about it at our next podcast.
Yeah, and I I think that's about it, but who knows? Who knows what curveballs will be thrown at me? Actually, tonight I am going to the Magnum Bash at Del Frisco's, which is an opportunity for people who are proud of their own wine collections to bring them and share them and pass them around and eat steak with them. I'm going as the guest of a friend who is a wine merchant, so I assume he's bringing the wine.
Nice.
If not, I need to find a Magnum somewhere. Honestly, I'm not gonna.
That's pretty heavy to carry on the subway, though.
That's true, but that's all right. I've been working out. I can do it.
Well, we'll reveal more at our next menu talk. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much for listening, everybody.
Control the kitchen chaos and streamline your back-of-house operations with Restaurant Technologies. Restaurant Technologies' total oil management solution is the end-to-end automated oil management system that delivers, filters, monitors, and recycles your cooking oil, taking the dirtiest job out of the kitchen and lets your employees focus on more important tasks. The total oil management solution helps prevent the burns, spills, slips, and falls that come with traditional oil management. Restaurant Technologies gives you and your employees peace of mind among the chaos of a commercial kitchen and can maximize efficiency for your business. And no upfront cost. Learn more about Restaurant Technologies and all the solutions they offer by visiting rti-inc.com or call 888-796-4997.